So in this video, I'm going to be going over my top 5 recommended blades for attack type combinations in Beyblade X Competitive. But just before we get started, if you are thinking of ordering the new Meteor Dragoon as well as the Mummy Curse booster set, you should definitely check out Mall of Toys, as they do have pre-orders up and you will be able to get a small 5% discount if you use code SOLARCOOL, link in the description. So getting straight into things, number 5, it has to be Dran Buster. It's the one-punch glass cannon designed to use all of its power momentum in one attack and praying for the best results. In the right hands, it's a lethal weapon, and in the hands of a noob who's just using the stock combo, it's also a lethal weapon, which is why I'm putting Dran Buster at 5. It's just so unpredictable that you can't ever count it out. So while it is extremely difficult to adjust to, it's a blade that's very rewarding if you can. Despite being around for a few years now and being the first release of the UX line, it still holds up today in all kinds of tournament formats, not just like 3-on-3 standard. And plus, there's some cool colour variants at this point since it's been out so long, like the Bay Park Busters, the red Dran Buster. There's like that weird blue variant in the booster. You can get the pish yellow. Like, there's a lot of colours, so a lot of variation there. So that's just a little bonus. Okay, so at number 4 we have Phoenix Wing. So again, being another very early release into Beyblade X, Phoenix Wing was and still is the easiest way to get into competitive Beyblade, especially at the cheap price point it's at. Not only do you get 39 grams of weight to sling around the stadium however you please, but you also get a 960 ratchet along with a string launcher. So the value's there. Let's be real, you're probably not going to use the 960 on Phoenix, but it's such a good ratchet, you can stick it on literally any type and it'll be fine. You can slap on 760 level and you've basically got a budget aero Pegasus build, or you could take a more controlled approach with the classic 160 rush, all while being able to pocket jump. So it's a nice mix between aggression and stamina. Or perhaps you just like letting your enemies come to you while you're sitting at mid. You could just put it on a 560 hexa build and just go for counter attacks basically. So long story short, it's pretty versatile and it works with most standard attack type setups. So I'll put something on screen just as an idea to what they are, but think like 760 LR, 360 rush, 960 rush, just basic attack setups. You can basically chuck anything on this and it will give you pretty good results overall. So it is one of those blades where most people will find at least one combo that they feel comfortable using. Okay, at number 3, Hover Wyvern. While officially it's classified as a defense type, Hover Wyvern can easily be turned into a mobile threat with common attack setups. And with the blade shape being sloped and bent the way it is, allows for pocket jumps more often than not, and that's without a 1 ratchet at all. So you can save your 160 for maybe a Rod Hexa build or just some other crazy attack setup, which basically means you can absolutely send it when launching with very minimal consequences, because chances are you might just get a buyback. And because of the stamina benefits Hover has, as it's classified as a defense type, it's literally designed to outspin attackers. So when it does come to attack versus attack matchups, while you're not guaranteed a 1-pointer, as long as both bays stay in, you're probably on the winning side. The only downside I can really see with Hover is the fact that it's locked behind a set, although I'd argue it's actually worth more, not just for the blade itself, but the low rush bit from the 960 and Impact Drake as well. So if you put those parts together immediately and just do Hover 960 LR, you essentially have a very competitive build out of the box. Now obviously if you are a fan of the drop attack, I know most people aren't. I know a lot of people just buy the set and sell the stadium off for like very cheap. But if you can get it at a deal, which I think Amazon has at the minute for Black Friday, this is probably the time to get the set. It's 100% worth it. So if you were on the fence and you were thinking like, hey, if it drops a little bit, I'm definitely buying it, you need to run now, because it's either going to sell out or you'll miss the sale and it probably won't be that low in price for a while. Okay, number 2, Shark Scale. Now, just like Hover, Shark is also set locked, sadly. However, because of the extra parts included with the set, I would say it kind of levels out. I mean, you get 170, Tyranno level. You get some CX stuff, Gear Flat 360. Like the CX stuff's not too crazy, but like in terms of the level and 170, the value's there, so you can't be too upset. That being said, there is already leaks, and at this point basically confirmed there is going to be a Hasbro release, which will just be a single booster. It'll probably come with a crappy proto launcher or something. But yeah, so soon enough, that fact of being set locked will be irrelevant, and which is also why it's at number 2 instead of 3. Now, I think Shark and Hover, they're pretty neck and neck in terms of like what you can use them for. They're very similar. They both like to pocket jump without the need for a 1 ratchet. Again, great shape for stamina. I mean, a lot of people use Shark like Hover and have it on like defense or stamina builds like 960 dot, low orb. I've seen free ball and ball usage, so while they are very similar and they have similar properties, Shark just has a weight advantage. The blades itself are so low, it's hard to like avoid getting ratchet sniped by it, even when it's on like 70 and 80 height. So while they are similar, Shark does just edge out by, well, I was about to say just about edges over, but it beats it by a mile, I think, in my opinion, like value wise for what you can do with it. Obviously, it's not going to beat Hover at everything, but in terms of attack, which is what this video is about, Shark is 100%. It's not losing that. However, there is something that is quite devastating about Shark and Hover. Oh, mother delivery. Okay, just before I was interrupted, I had a... I'm so fat, I'm getting this tired running upstairs. Oh, postman had to pick up a parcel. Right, Warzone. That was it. Shark and Hover. So, basically, long story short, and this isn't just Shark and Hover, but these are like so noticeable in how they deteriorate during battles. Basically, as most people know, and this is why TT have very strict rulings, especially during like Worlds, if your blade is not fresh, they would not let you use it. Or at least within like a certain degree. And that's because, as like common sense, God, I'm still out of breath. Long story short, your blade, your combo, like the build you have made to do a specific thing, it's probably not going to act as it should if the blade was like brand new out the box. I mean, think of blades like Phoenix Wing, for example. This is like the most common, not even error, it's like the trap that attack type players fall into. So most people, and everybody knows at least one, or you are the culprit yourself, they'll buy a Phoenix Wing, they will abuse the fuck out of it until, like, forget a small crack, the whole wing's going to be blown out. Like, unusable, destroyed. And people will use it until it breaks. However, at some point, and it happens quicker than people think, the blade goes blunter and blunter and blunter to the point where you don't get crits, or at least not near as much. They won't hit near as hard. And this is why Shark and Hover are very susceptible to this issue, and why they can get expensive quick, especially for competitive setups, because not at the minute you're paying at minimum like £15-20 if you're lucky enough to buy the blade alone. Like someone's bought a Shark set and took the Shark out. So realistically you're spending like £30-40 for the use of one blade, that after a certain amount of battles it's going to blunt out, it'll round off, and then it's not going to have any aggressive shape or like recoil to it to actually knock itself around and cause enough recoil to hop out of a pocket. So on screen I'm going to show a picture of the Shark Edge I'm using now and the Shark Edge I stopped using about a week ago, because if you look on the left you'll see the old Shark it's basically turning into a wizard rod. Like it's thin, it's round, and it's about 38 grams. So at this point you could argue like maybe a defensive build would be better for it, which is stupid because it's like a mad attack blade. But like this is the point I'm trying to make. Like once the blade goes blunt, it stops acting like a pure attack type, and you get this like pseudo defense stamina mix. And once that happens, it's so unreliable that I'd argue chucking it out and just getting like a fresh, worse blade than you already have. Like, say if you had hover that's fresh and a shark that's not fresh or like very used. At that point, I would use hover despite being, quote, the worst attack blade, because it's going to be way more consistent than a blunt shark. So, like, for shark, this doesn't matter too much because, again, Hasbro release, yada yada yada, it will end up probably being like £10. Like, it's not too much of an issue, but like, especially for hover, it racks up quick. So that's just like, I was about to say a minor thing. It's a major thing if you want to use this blade competitively. Because yeah, you can't just be saving blades for like tournament use only unless you've already got practice with a blade. So bit of a weird one, but definitely something to watch out for. And finally, at number 1, my favourite, I think no one's going to be surprised when I say this, but it's Aero Pegasus. The rare bay that everybody wants, and for extremely good reason. Despite only being able to like obtain Aero through the rare bay gacha system, lots of players do end up using it despite not, like in the grand scale of things, many people winning one. And even with that small number, it is not hard to find Aero on a number of winning threads. And that's not just like normal standard 3-on-3. This can be like gimmick formats, random formats, even formats where if you use like high class blades like Aero, Rod, Dragoon, sometimes you'll get given like essentially a handicap just to like even things out. But even then, like, it still makes its way up there and like has really good podium placements consistently. So God forbid this goes like wide release and it's accessible. I think at that point it would 100% be like dominating the attack scene. Or at least on par with Shark Cage. I think Shark Cage actually is like a bit better than Aero in overall, but I can only say that because I've been using Aero competitively for like 2 years. So I know very much how it moves, what it's like against other bays. But already, even though Shark's not been out for long, I do think Shark is slightly over. But the reason it's not number 1 on this list is because of the fact that not many people have Aero and it's still obviously at the top. And we do have the red one coming out soon. Now, if it is a secondary prize, that's going to be super accessible. I'm predicting now everybody's going to be using Aero and it will probably overtake Shark. But until then, I'm on the fence. Now, when it's fresh out the box, it will pocket jump and rebound without 160. So it's similar to Shark and Hover. And because it's UX, again, similar to Shark and Hover, it has a lot of stamina and especially more than any like BX line attacker. So if you come up against stuff like Phoenix Wing, same with like Hover and Shark, you already have an advantage of most likely getting the outspin just because of your weight distribution. So it's a really good perk to have, especially with UX blades. And also because it's 38 grams, not quite as heavy as like Phoenix, but it's still like 38 is essentially like the top end of like where like your attack type meta stuff really seems to shine, like the dominant ones at least that like hold their spots for like years. But so yeah, again, with that weight, you'll be able to weight bully towards the end. So let's say if you come up against like Wolf on Freeball, if you can get some really aggressive hits in at the start and just go for destabilization, you should be able to push some stuff over at the end. Now obviously you're not going to be able to do that with all stuff, especially like Clock Mirage, your typical like Rod 960 builds, but Aero is weirdly destabilizing and just bullying the stamina and defense trope. So it's just you can't really go wrong with Aero in a deck. It's just good. It's the same as like Rod is Rod. You can like, you know what I mean? Like the blade's just good. Like it's a carry in itself. So if you can use it, it's even better. Again, because Aero's rare bay, there's not like a load of test footage that's floating around. Now, again, I've used it for like 2 years, so I've got plenty of footage and different builds and combinations and play styles I sort of used and tested out with. So on screen, I'm going to put my best attack builds. I'm also going to put my best counter attack builds, and also just as a bit fun, I'm going to put some kind of weird, funky, like, why would you put that on Aero builds on screen? Just because some of them do actually work competitively, weird enough. just for a bit of fun, I'll add those as well. Now, I'll leave it there because I feel like if I yap any more, especially at this part on aero, we're going to be here all day. However, that was my top 5 attack blade list. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you agree, disagree, you know, maybe you'd swap a few around in the order, but overall agree. Who knows, but let me know because I'm very curious. And also, if you agree that hover should technically be in this list, as it's not an attack type, but we'll see. But yeah, that's all from me. Hope you enjoyed, and take care, Bladers.
You want to grow the old collection you found rotting away in the basement, or even from scratch, Base Station has you covered. Although Burst is over, they still stock a few select models along with Beyblade X and a ton of Metal Series Beyblades, from Metal Fusion all the way up until Fury. So if you're looking for a trusted and reliable source for Beyblades, check out BaseStation.com and use code SOLICAL for a discount at checkout.